Welcome back, ghouls and goblins, to our end of day recap with Hello Good Trades, or some of you may know Hello Good Game. It's our other channel. We make Magic the Gathering arena content over there, and we actually just hit #1 in the entire world, which is pretty impressive. Magic the Gathering is a pretty serious strategy-based card game, and we love it. We love trading as well, right? So just living our best life, following our passions here. So we've got a couple things to talk about. It was a busy day. I didn't expect to be this busy. We've been trying to take things a little bit slower here, but you know, when the market provides, you got to eat. So first things first, let's just get right into it. UUU Universal Safety Products Incorporated declares a one-time special cash dividend of $1 per share of common stock. So this is a kind of reoccurring theme we've seen over the last couple days. If you remember past videos, NBY, the first one to come out, special cash dividend, it explodes, massive price improvement. Then we see SOGP, I believe, another special cash dividend, stock price explodes. And today, similar news with UUU, triple U. So we're eyes on, right? We're watching this. I was a little bit late to it. I wasn't certain how far it would go, but it paid really well. 350 basically up to 7 here, so well over 100% from its low to high. And as far as technical analysis goes on this, we had some gaps on the 1 day, right? So I'm always filling in gaps on our 1 day. Here we have that, here and here. These are inefficiencies in liquidity. I don't really like these because they've already been interacted with. This one's not as bad. It's a little bit fresher. But to a certain extent, they've both, been filled already. A gap that's not been filled is better, and it did even refill here. But it is what it is. You still respect those levels, and we see it kind of rejecting, but that's off of a a daily reversal signal here, which is like pretty good, especially considering it wasn't its first, right? This is basically a trend retest reversal signal, which is really good. And then descending triangle, basically a bull flag, right? Which is great, and it breaks out. So drawing these gaps on the 1 day just for some reference points intraday, right? But again, I was a little bit slow to this, a little sleepy in the morning. As far as how we would have played it if we were on the ball, if you got in on the retracement of view up here for expansion, that's fine. That's kind of risky biscuits, but the risk reward's not bad, right? Because you just put your stop under the daily gap, right? So that could have been one potential entry. Hard, and you would have definitely been watching your scanner for this. But you've seen the news last week. That gives you, a little bit more conviction to jump, right? But where I kind of like it more is where we break down, right? We have that VWAP breakdown, consolidation under, and retracement back to and breakthrough with retest. So literally anywhere here is great. Chasing on this bar is a little aggressive, but then when it comes back to VWAP, anywhere here, which is again, the supply zone, is really nice for us to load in and ride back up to the next gap where we expect rejection, but it breaks through, which is really nice. So I think this would have been our ideal entry that we would have been comfortable taking, right? You could argue here, but this is something that we preach over and over and over. You could take it on the VWAP consolidation. I would try to wait this out and then try to get it back in again on trend here, which you see the 21 and VWAP, high conviction for two of them being there. Really nice risk reward. You could put your stop under this low of the pullback before it reclaimed VWAP, right? So really nice entries there. If if we were going to take that, let's say we took it on the high of the consolidation, not even cherry picking here. There's our stop, and we would have got it even. Oh, stay on page, please. 2.5 to 1 risk reward, right? which is pretty decent. So, and even even if you just get the 2 here, like that's easy exits, right? Because you're out with this called consolidation, and again, second chance here. So that would have been a really nice trade today. Oh, and it actually broke higher. Sorry, what was this? That went as high as a 3-to-1 risk reward, which is pretty cool. So not bad. And there was more of this, and we seen day 3 inside bars forming today off of the special dividend news. So we're going to put some other things on watch list and really hone in on this as a theme for the rest of the week. Okay. Next up, SHFS Safe Harbor Financial launches industry's first fully managed cannabis banking program for financial industries. 420 blaze it. We got stopped out on this. We don't have all of our trades go well, but we still need to break them down so we know what went wrong, right? So we see the news pop, then it breaks down with a reversal signal, but we hold trend, right? We're holding the 200. So the risk reward at this point is really good, right? Very tight stop loss. And we were a little premature on our entry. We were on an expected reversal signal, right? Because we have the price break above our moving averages, which means they're going to reverse because it's a lagging indicator, right? So we're in on that anticipation, but it doesn't hold, right? And it does potentially pay, like close if you would have stayed in it, but a nasty VWAP projection after open, right? So into open, it does go, but crazy rejection here, like really, really gross. So, I'm still in it. Wasn't an exit for me because my entry was a little aggressive. That's kind of where this trade went wrong. I think it could have paid off if we had a better exit, and then this would have been our departure, a better entry, and that would have been our exit. So a little bit sloppy, but even with that being said, it didn't go anymore. It would have just been like, here's your scale out and then die, and that's kind of the things I don't like, right? I like when you scale out and then it keeps running, and you scale up more and it keeps running. Less of just these pump and dumps, right? We don't really like to see those. So kind of a bad play here today, but it is what it is. We'll move on to CARM. Just watching this, there was no news on this, but after hours, last week we seen a lot of action here, like 20 cents all the way up to 65 cents. I don't like penny stocks. They're like China stocks. I try to avoid them, specifically ones without any news. And this morning, though, right, because we see after hours action, then we see morning retracement into that reversal, right? Pairing it, because it's not just a reversal, but you have to, because we had a reversal here, but you need to pair it with a key level breakout, which is, in our case, VWAP, right? So we have our reversal, here's our breakout, here's our trend retest. So this is your ideal entry, these two candles. Anywhere here is a little bit chasey, but you kind of are still waiting for it, right? But people enter in anticipation, right? That's why it's such a big candle. So if you entered quickly on this anticipation, great. If you entered delayed on it, then you're kind of chasing, right? You'd be better off to get in on a trend retest. So that would have been really nice entries if you wanted to take it. However, there was so much happening today that I just didn't feel comfortable with it. A, it's a penny stock. B, there's no news. And C, I had other stuff going on, right? So speaking of C, NUKK was a runner the other day, right? They entered a $28 billion AI defense market with a proposed acquisition of Tiltan Software Engineering, which is cool. The other day they had some other news as well, right? We were trading this just the other day. Is this day 3? I don't even know if it is. I think it was just day 2, right? Yeah. and not even consolidation because we're breaking up higher. So this is just day 2 continuation on more news, right? Because they had news the other day, which is why they pumped. So one of our better trades here, and we like it. We had success with it the other day. So that the average volume is a little bit higher than we'd like it to be, but it is what it is. We play what's given. So we have the news pop, right? Then we have the VWAP breakdown, and then reclaim, right? So we're entering on this reclaim, this red candle. Could have had a little bit of a better entry. It is what it is. It can't be perfect. Our stop loss is below the pullback, right? You could even use the body of the candle instead of the wick. I like to use the wick just to be safe. Then we get our 1-to-1, right? Quite a bit of consolidation. It's pretty spooky, but we get it as soon as the market opens and volume hits, right? 1-to-1, 2-to-1, 3-to-1, 4-to-1, 5-to-1, just like that. And that's what I like, right? I don't want it just to, maybe go 1-to-1 and slam down. Sometimes it happens, though. I like to scale out as we go, let those runners fly, let them run. Maybe they could fly. They get enough P power, then they can if they've got the wings, right? So yeah, NUKK was great. We're going to watch this for the rest of the week, just for continuation. The market cap's still here, only $30 million. So we'll have to see how that unfolds. Then SOGP was a day 3 inside bar, which I really like. Played this perfectly. And was thinking about it ahead of time, right? Right in the morning before volume hit it. We're like, okay, we got to watch this because it's a potential day 3. A little sloppy, though, so we're going to talk about it because there's another play today that was a little sloppy. But if this performed that well, maybe this new one will also. So here's our day 1, right? Massive volumetric move, right? Big volume, big price expansion. Then day 2, we have low volume consolidation. Now, typically, we like this consolidation to be within the body of the candle, right? However, it's within the body and the wick. The wick's the upper part here. That's not thick. So it's still a day 3 inside bar setup because it's consolidating within the wick. But you don't expect it to be as aggressive because of that. It's much better if it consolidates within the body of the candle, and then the break above is typically a little bit better. However, this was nice. This was really, really good. Not even on that much volume, which is interesting. So, this on day 1 news was special cash dividend. Day 2, low volume consolidation. Kind of a little bit messy, but I think it's messy because the news is so bullish. So the consolidation isn't taking place within the body, it's taking place a little bit above, right? And it's just based on bullish news, not that it's a bad setup, because day 3 was still quite explosive. And then here's our day 3, right? So we have, we could even mark this as well, right? Day 2's candle, or body, wick, and day 1's, which is probably nice to mark as well. We'll mark day 1 in purple, just to differentiate. Right? Body, wick, and then we get that information intraday. So we see right in the morning, because it's kind of rejecting, right? Well, in the morning, we break through. And then we're right up to the day 2 wick, which is where, I start to watch it. Once it breaks above, we take our entry, right? Because then it's a confirmed breakout, and we put our stop. You could put it below the body of the candle, the day 2 body. However, I'm used to just putting it below the pullback, right? A better risk reward, absolutely. Maybe that's something that we work with more in the future as we continue to gain experience with our day 3 setups, right? So our entry is at the break of the wick of day 2. Stop loss could be below the body of it, but also just below your recent pullback, right? They're not that far away. So with that being said, it gaps up, stops, right? So it halts up, creates a gap, which if you wanted, you can now play this as a gap fill strategy, right? So when the price retraces in, you can take entry with a stop loss below, right? So it's your risk rewards a little bit tighter. And because of that, you can size in more, right? So your stop loss is below. You're entering in on the re-entry of the gap. And then this went, potentially 11 to 1 risk reward, which is really, really, really aggressive, right? So that's a potential entry, right? If you didn't get in on the day 3 inside bar, right? Which a lot of people did, right? And that's what created the halt up, because everyone was like, okay, go, right? Then you get this halt up, but even if you were late, you could re-enter in on this gap fill strategy, and then scalp it up. So that's kind of cool as well. For us, we get a 1-to-1, 2-to-1, 3-to-1, and 4-to-1 as well. 5-to-1 doesn't fill, unfortunately. We're going to see how that unfolds tomorrow. We still have a couple runners left here, so looking for a continuation on this and other special cash dividend news. Moving on, IPDN was a day 2 watch, right? Oh, people are already loading this. You dogs. Anyways, so you can see how it's a theme in everyone. Cat's out of the bag, right? And if I know and I can tell people, everybody knows, right? So let's go to our 1 day just to show you it again. Here's our first volumetric move. And then here's day 2, low volume consolidation. And then day 3, people are already getting after it. It's like, could you be any more excited? Settle down, right? So I don't know how this plays out anymore. I wanted to share this with all of you guys for tomorrow, but cat's really out of the bag apparently. So we'll see where this opens up and kind of how everything looks tomorrow, because on the 1 day chart, this isn't going to track, right? Like if tonight and tomorrow morning it dumps back down, then maybe there's still a setup here, but if it runs and breaks through, then it's just already going. Looks like SHFS, right? Kind of a sloppy setup, right? Where we're not within the body, like we're kind of a little bit within the wick. But the last one went good, so why wouldn't this one go good? And it already is, apparently, just in the time we've been filming here. So, 7 to 9 basically is really good. Anywho, I guess that's that. CWD was another day 3 inside bar that didn't really work out as well. Sometimes there's just too many things going on. And you can see it reject, right? So that's why we are waiting lots of times for the break of the body on day 1 to enter. So we see our day 1, high volume, day 2, low volume consolidation within the body of the candle, and maybe wicks below, that's not great. And then day 3 still kind of pays, right? Like even if you entered in on the break at 380, you could just scalp this up to 430. Like that's decent returns, no doubt. But it doesn't get the break of the body of the wick of the day 1 candle, which is really what we want to see. And the difference between this and this, right? See how when we break the body, when we break the wick, we get that expansion upwards, right? And with CWD, we couldn't do that. Now, CWD is a itty-bitty market cap in comparison. And, as much as I love small market cap companies, it is an indicator of a lack of success, So there is like a tipping point where a company goes from being almost worthless to now getting a legit valuation, lots of times because some news or market mechanic, the dividend here. So sometimes it can be too small, right? I much prefer 10 million, push it from 10 to 50, right? That's still 5x. Not all $3 million companies are going to go to 10 million, right? So always being aware of the market cap, how much a company's worth, right? It's it's a way to assign value in my mind to things, and Some things are worth more than they should be, right? But others worth less. Anyways, HWH was chilling. This is China, no news, but we like China as long as it doesn't have news, right? So Chinese stocks with news we don't like, or with news we don't like, without news we do like, right? We don't want, like, so it's backwards, right? Typically we want a catalyst that drives volume, but then this is just a tribute to them. It's a characteristic. They'll liquidate if a Asian stock has a catalyst. It will almost always liquidate during the day if it had a pre-market run. However, if it doesn't have a catalyst, you get these crazy runs, like a lot of the time. So I'm always just, where's the company from? This is something I'm kind of checking pre-trade, HWH. You see, they're trying to tell you it's in Bethesda, MD, which I think is like somewhere in the States. But if you go to the website, you can see Singapore, South Korea, Hong Kong, Malaysia, right? Yes, you have one, I'm sure, office building in Montgomery Lane, Bethesda, wherever that is. But the majority of this is Asiatic, right? Malaysia, Hong Kong, South Korea, Singapore. So you know that this is of that nature. And just massive run here. I've got these levels marked out from a long time ago. I don't even know where these are from. Should we investigate? We should investigate because they seem relevant. Like, kind of holding it as support when we break through here a little bit, and then up to the next, right? So, like, what are these levels? Where did I draw them from? Let's check out the 1 day. So maybe I'm checking out this. Maybe also drawing it on the 4 hours. I'm thinking right here, right? There's a couple gaps here as well. Who knows how old these are, right? And then we have another level. Maybe they're from over here because I'm drawing something over here. Is that sometimes it's best not to look, right? But this wouldn't be from there. This has got to be from here. Sometimes it makes sense. Sometimes it doesn't. This is also, oh, that's why. It's post-split. So my levels are probably no longer relevant because they're not going to convert with the price change, right? So sometimes if something splits, it can kind of mess up your charting. Anywho, moving on. SSKN. These guys had news. They have a new expansion with some autoimmune skin conditions. So those are the things we like. Well, we don't like them, but they're good for price discovery within the market. Cancer, Alzheimer's, autoimmune disease, right? Those are the three. And if you can compare that with a small market cap, low daily average volume, and then you get your catalyst, which is this news, you get high relative volume, current day volume, and then that's going to be what you see here, right? Just this massive climb up and news pop, VWAP breakdown, recovery. So we enter in on the recovery. Your stop loss is at the pullback. Scalp it up. This would have been an easy 1-to-1, maybe even a 2-to-1 here if you took it in the morning there. And then NBY, people are kind of catching wind of this cash dividend shenanigans that hit, I think, the other day, right? And then massive continuation here the last couple of days. So keeping an eye on it, keeping an eye on the other cash dividends as well. And then it's meme season. Meme season is here, so open, seeing quite a bit of volume today, and not dying, right? So this is on the 1 day, holding that reversal really good. Gets its key level, and the 1 day it's going to be the 200, and then the trend retest the 21, holding. So your entries here on the 21, both times would have been absolutely gas, and riding it back up to the daily gap from yonder and our local liquidity, right? That's going to be what a buy side liquidity. And OPAD, similar, small at market cap though, right? So easier to move and may move harder than something already worth $3 billion. So both of these companies, higher short interest, high cost to borrow is really the indicator there, and both will capitalize off of an interest rate drop here in September from the Fed, if that comes, and it kind of seems like it will. And again, the market is very forward-looking, so we see, this taking place here. And that's it. That was my day. Of course, we will have the GameStop breakdown for you in a separate video if you're interested in that. We're green, baby. Let's go. And we have 7 days till earnings. So, cheers. Thank you all for watching our daily review. Of course, that GameStop video is in its own. Check that out as well. And I will see you soon in the next. Make sure to leave a like, drop a comment, and subscribe to the channel. Take care.